A woman named Emma is meeting Tom in a hotel room and they share a drink. Emma tells Tom that they can't see each other anymore. He tries to convince her, but Emma is determined about the extramarital affair. As Emma is leaving, Tom begs to see her again the next day, but Emma refuses due to her wedding anniversary. The next day, she goes to her husband Mark's workplace and his assistant presents her with flowers and congratulations for the anniversary. Upon entering her husband's office, Emma comes across a confidential police file detailing an incident where she was robbed and stabbed a few years ago. Then we flash back to a scene from the past, where there was an unsuccessful robbery attempt that resulted in injuries to the criminal, hitting him in the eye. Emma is interrupted by her husband Mark's entrance into the office, and it is revealed that Mark is a renowned lawyer involved in revoking the parole of the individual who previously assaulted Emma. She questions whether he misses incarcerating people instead of helping them avoid prison, but Mark, now acting as a criminal defense attorney, he declares that his preference is for money. As they descend in the elevator, they encounter Tom on the next floor and both need to act as if they don't know each other. Emma and Mark decide to celebrate their wedding anniversary at a restaurant, where Mark presents Emma with a diamond necklace, and Emma has also prepared a surprise for Mark, 2 tickets to the Super Bowl. However, Mark rudely rejects the gift, commenting on the team's poor performance that year. While watching an emotional marriage proposal at another table, Emma reflects. Remembering the happy times with her husband, Mark puts the necklace on Emma. After dinner, Mark surprises Emma by blindfolding her and taking her to a secluded house by the lake, a place they used to frequent when they were younger. When they arrive, Emma decides to explore the house and finds a room filled with photographs of them together. She turns on the record player and immerses herself in fond memories of their past. She follows the rose petals and enters the room where Mark awaits her with 2 glasses of champagne. He apologizes for not having been a good husband and expresses the desire to rebuild the relationship from there on. So they begin to have relations. Upon waking up the next morning, Emma finds her husband next to her in bed. However, she realizes that her wrist is chained to his. Then he brandishes a gun and shoots himself. Emma tries to scream for help, but there is no one nearby. She tries to call the police, but her phone is dead, and then tries to shoot the chain with the gun, but she has no more ammunition. With no options left, she drags Mark's body to the closet and finds her wedding dress there. As she picks up the dress, she sees a safe behind it. Emma places the dress under Mark's body to make it easier to transport, but as she descends the stairs, she ends up falling. In her search for the phone, she discovers it submerged in a flower pot, and upon retrieving it, she realizes it's damaged. At that moment, she rummages through all the drawers in the kitchen and finally finds the car keys. With effort, Emma tries to get into the vehicle with Mark's body weight on her. When she attempts to start it, the car doesn't turn on because the fuel tank is completely empty. Suddenly, their wedding song starts playing, accompanied by Mark's voice on a recording, explaining that he did what he did because he considered Emma ungrateful, as he found out about her affair with Tom and therefore refused to forgive her. Emma returns home to clean the blood from her face, but realizes she can't take off the necklace Mark gave her the night before. So she has an idea. She goes to the basement, hoping to find some tools there, but she doesn't find any. Then she begins to vent about Mark's hypocrisy, remembering his encounters with other women and how he had to wash lipstick and glitter off his shirt. She drags him back up and lies down on the floor. Emma decides to return to the dark room once again, Nuri. She finds the photograph of the man who attacked her during the attempted robbery. Alongside the photo, she finds a record player with the inscription, "Play Me." It's at this moment that she makes the discovery that it's a recording of her own interview about the incident. It's revealed that during the attack, the assailant managed to stab Emma in the back, but she also managed to injure him, possibly hitting him in the eye, reliving the trauma from the past. Emma can't bear to listen to the rest of the recording, losing emotional control. When Emma returns to the living room, she notices someone outside. To her surprise, it's Tom, with whom she had an affair. He explains that he hurried over after receiving a series of text messages from her asking for help. It's evident to everyone that Emma didn't send these messages. After realizing Emma's situation, Tom reveals that the FBI conducted an operation at Mark's office and his career's in ruins. Emma finally understands why her husband did that. Emma says they should call the police immediately because she believes Mark devised a plan to incriminate them. When Tom goes to get his phone from the car, they spot a truck approaching the house. Tom decides to go out and tells Emma not to open the door to anyone. The truck parks in front of the house and Tom confronts the man who gets out. He introduces himself as Jimmy and says he's there to fix a burst pipe. Tom offers to pay him for the service and asks him to leave. Just as Jimmy is about to leave, a guy named Bobby comes out of the truck and Tom is attacked. allowing both to invade the interior of the house while the two men search the house for something. Emma makes her way out, dragging Mark's body with her. She heads towards the boat shed and cuts off his arm so she no longer has to carry the body. Moments later, Jimmy and Bobby come across the body, but Emma is already gone, though they are unaware that Emma is hiding just beneath them. Now that she has seen Bobby's face, she recognizes him as the man who attacked her in the past, and upon overhearing their conversation, Emma discovers that Mark hired them to come to the house, promising access to the safe in the lake house where there are diamonds. Bobby and Jimmy are looking for Emma, because she's the only one who would know the safe combination. After the two men leave, Emma leaves her hiding spot and has an idea. Meanwhile, Jimmy examines the safe and tells Bobby that it requires both a combination and a fingerprint. So Bobby goes to retrieve Mark's body, while Emma drags the boat's fuel tank through the snow. She's nearly discovered when Jimmy comes out of the house to look for her. However, she manages to get into the car garage and starts trying to transfer the fuel into the vehicle's tank. Unfortunately, this process makes noise, prompting Bobby to investigate. Emma hides under the car as Bobby approaches and cuts one of the tires to prevent her from escaping. Emma manages to escape from Bobby and leaves the garage. Meanwhile, Jimmy is busy moving Mark's body into the house, and Emma finds herself trapped on the stairs between Bobby in the basement and Jimmy at the front door. With her quick thinking, Emma presses the car alarm button, successfully distracting Bobby and Jimmy, who rush back to the garage. Seizing this brief opportunity, Emma laments what they did to Tom. Meanwhile, outside the house, Bobby tells Jimmy that he refuses to let Emma escape alive, still resentful of her having sent him to prison for the past 10 years after the botched robbery attempt. They return to the house and continue searching for Emma, aware that she must be hiding somewhere inside. Bobby decides to go upstairs to check, leaving Jimmy downstairs. When Bobby gets up there, he hears a noise coming from the attic. Emma comes out of her hiding place and attacks Bobby. Emma not only knocks him unconscious, but also makes him fall to the lower floor. She manages to grab his car keys. Jimmy, who heard the commotion, rushes upstairs to find his brother. Emma strikes Jimmy with a golf club and locks him in a room, breaking the door handle. After that, she goes out to try to start the car, but Bobby stops her. Meanwhile, Emma manages to reach a phone and calls 911. Jimmy approaches and begs Bobby to give up and flee before the police arrive. But Bobby remains steadfast in his decision. He advances and knocks out Emma. When Emma wakes up, she finds herself handcuffed again next to her husband, while Bobby and Jimmy drag the safe towards her. She tells them she doesn't have the safe's password, but Bobby doesn't believe her and begins to assault her. He threatens her with a knife again, prompting Jimmy, who is more compassionate, to try to stop him, but Bobby pushes him away. Jimmy then grabs Mark's gun and points it at Bobby. Suddenly, Emma proposes giving the password, provided they free her from the handcuffs. Jimmy agrees and she reveals the safe combination. The safe opens, but to everyone's disappointment, it's empty, except for an engraved locket indicating the diamonds were turned into the necklace Emma is wearing. Emma starts to panic, saying she tried to remove the necklace but couldn't. Bobby, with cold determination, is fully prepared to decapitate Emma, just to get his hands on the diamonds. But Jimmy opposes him. Bobby pushes Jimmy aside and tries to shoot, but the gun is unloaded. He then gets into a struggle with Emma until Jimmy intervenes, and the two brothers start fighting. Bobby accidentally hits Jimmy's head on a coat hook. While Bobby is momentarily shocked, Emma gets up and grabs a nearby knife. They engage in another fight, but this time, Emma manages to strike him with a heavy tool. She escapes as Bobby pursues her again, but now he's chained to Mark. As Emma heads for the garage and gets into Mark's car, Bobby closely follows. Emma panics and reverses the car, knocking down the garage wall and colliding with the other vehicles. When she can move the car, she advances and ends up hitting Bobby. However, the car slides on the snow and ends up crashing into the boathouse. Bobby, somehow unharmed, struggles to reach the car, but Emma is no longer inside. He finds her crawling towards the frozen lake and follows her. They struggle again, and Emma manages to wound him with a stab. But the impact of his body breaks the ice, and they both fall into the water. They continue to fight underwater, and Emma removes the knife from his shoulder, managing to incapacitate him and finally break free. Emma then swims to the surface and lies on the frozen lake, removing her wedding ring, which rolls and falls into the water. Subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and leave a like to help the channel. Thank you for watching.